It's hard being me. Every night I go out into the world and see the perfect faces, perfect hair, and perfect smiles. They all brush past me, giggling as they stumble home drunkenly from the bar they had remained for hours. Their happiness left a bad taste in my mouth. Their joyous smiles caused my anger to swell within me at the threatening levels. I hated them. I envied on how they could glance into a mirror confidently, and even if they were far from perfection. Opposed to my views on myself, my friends and family were quite happy with their appearances. In fact, they all mocked my insecurities every chance they get, causing me to withdraw from the hurtful commentary whenever they decide to pick on me. It was not like I choose to be a fuck up. Who knows who could cause such a trait? All I ever wanted was to be proud of the way I looked, but that far-fetched dream was likely to ever become my reality. Let's face it, I'm hideous. No one seems to understand me, except for Morgan. She's my roomie. Just as I do before I start to retreat to my bed every night, Morgan stands before the mirror, blank-faced, so she stares upon herself. Tears stream down her cheeks as she analyzes herself, trying to find the thing she likes about the image, staring back at her at the mirror's reflection. Every single night, her progress remains stunted in the path towards self-confidence. I almost felt sorry for her, but that pity always vanished when I stared upon her luscious brown hair, intoxicating green eyes, and gorgeous bone structure. The girl had no right to be self-conscious. If anything, she belonged to a runaway, making millions before she eventually married some basketball player on board. Unlike her, I was truly hideous, but I couldn't stand the thought of losing her as my friend. My fascination with Morgan grew daily. I hated her. I loved her, envied her, admired her. I just couldn't get enough of her. My friends warned me not to grow too attached to her, reminded me of my past friendships gone awry. But every word they spoke traveled through one ear and out the other. No matter what they said, I couldn't part from Morgan. No, she was my addiction. I had to be within presence daily, no matter the cost. Unfortunately, Morgan never felt the slightest bit for me. She pretended I didn't exist, throwing her filthy clothes whenever she pleads to attempt to piss me off. Nothing I did ever seemed to faze her. Even after a long day of cleaning our room, she would come home, strip out of her clothes, and the dirty room without so much as a thank you. Her cold shoulder lasted weeks at a time, causing fury to eat away at my coincidence with every word left unspoken. Before now she acknowledged me. She would glance under the bed countless times in the dead of night after hearing my leg bump against the railing beneath her. Her eyes would search blindly for any sign of life hidden within the darkness. But the absence of light aided my concealing me from view. Various nights she would want me to glance over her cracked open closet door, her eyes unable to catch me as I watched on, peeking through her hanging clothes. She knew I was there. She used to acknowledge me. Now she doesn't seem to care. All of her attention was captured by her own image in the mirror. Those self-help books, the ones that so she vividly read within each and every night, were the cause of this. No longer did she want to spare the common trait she had with me. She wanted it gone. She wanted it erased from her thoughts. I couldn't allow this to happen. I refused to allow her to be happy. Her smiles would surely kill me, dragging me back into the dark abyss of my own mind upon view. She was a traitor for seeking help. She did this on purpose. For years I've been around, cherishing our relationship, as she plotted against me, against us. She wanted to rub her smiles, her happiness, her perfection within my face. I could sense where she wanted to break me, just as Bethany, Julia, and Rebecca had in the past. I couldn't let history repeat itself. No, I couldn't. So I waited for her to arrive home, anticipation causing a foul door odor to seep from under my arms as I did so. The wait was so long, considering I was standing the entire time. She walked into the door, a faint smile across her face as she lowered her backpack on the floor. I step up to her, my heart beginning to beat with excitement, rage, and vengeance. Immediately she let out a blood-curdling scream, but I quickly muted her by placing my hand over the perfect mouth as she struggled to within my arms. Once her fight subsided, I removed my hand from her mouth, only to secure it up beneath her chin. As the rehearsed pleading began, adrenaline surged through me. To have someone perfect acknowledge you, offering everything in exchange for mercy, was quite satisfying. I knew I was Polly, a trick used by Bethany, Julia, and Rebecca to escape me in the past. I knew I couldn't let her leave. Even if I let her go, she'd be free, never to return again. Instead of resorting to my once foolish ways, I lowered myself down to her, staring at her with the eyes as black as mascara-stained cheeks. "I want to be perfect," I said, speaking for the language of my family and friends had all been told not to from birth. Her eyes widened, a shrill scream escaping her perfect lips as she realized the fate. Something about her helplessness as I pulled her beautiful eyes from her sockets, slicing away a optopic nerve as I did so, provided me with happiness. Through her fight had worn out, shock drowning her. She was still so perfect, even without her eyes, even without her luscious hair, even without her teeth. Once her body went limp, the blood pooling around her body no longer expanding outwards upon the wooden floors, I walked excitedly towards the mirror, Morgan's scalp, teeth, and eyes within my hands. As I stood there before it, I gazed upon the gnarled creature with its reflection. I stared at my sticky, sickly, veiny skin. I glared at the sight of the disproportioned arms and legs. I scowled upon the sight of the grotesque tumor-like protrusion resting atop of my spinal cord. No matter what I did, I could never be happy. I couldn't possibly satisfy with the most disgusting monstrosity I was born to be. No, I had to change. I had to confirm my perfection. So I lifted Morgan's scalp over my lumpy head, shifting it so it framed my face perfectly. I glanced into the mirror, relishing the mirror transformation as the blood trickled down my cheeks. The process was not over. I had to continue. So I began tugging away at my jagged teeth, one by one ripping them away from my rot-infested mouth. The pain was non-existent, though opaque liquid running down the sides of my mouth was surely blood. Still I continued on, shoving the perfect white teeth into the deepened holes in my blackened ones had previously been. Once each tooth was in their rightful place, swiftly I turned towards the mirror, smiling at the beauty within its reflection. But there was one more step to take that would make me complete my transformation. I'm not gonna lie to you, the pain was excruciating. Who would have thought of ripping your own eyes off would be so painful? I powered through and though, listening as my own reflection eyes fell onto the floor. Slowly and with each careful movements, I inserted Morgan's eyes into each of my sockets, cringing as the warm liquid seeped from the deepened pockets. Though I could not see my transformation, I could feel it. I was perfect, absolutely perfect, and the best part about it is, I don't ever have to look in the mirror again. What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video. And I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, Thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, stay pretty.